There are days meant for crossing things off of a list. And then there are days meant for listening to the parts of you that don't get much airtime. Today, I'm giving that part of me a little bit more space. If you're new here, I introduced something called a Renaissance Day recently to my channel. It's a day or an afternoon or an hour where I just carve out time purely for curiosity. It's a day to learn. It's a day to make things. It's a day to follow any sparks of curiosity without forcing things into turning into something useful. And it's named after the Renaissance period, a time where inventors and artists and thinkers let themselves belong to many worlds all at once. No pressure, no timelines, just the idea that simply being curious is enough. Okay, so today's projects are a little scattered in the best way, a little different from last time as well, as some of these may become useful, but I'm also not putting that pressure on these projects that they have to turn into something useful. Some of them are exploring ideas for my social media channels for my business, exploring ideas for templates that may help some people out there who need them, but also if they don't end up turning into anything useful, that's totally okay. A day for exploring building apps and learning new skills, making myself try things that are outside of my comfort zone. Today, one of the things I want to learn on is how to build an app, because I've never built one before. I may be a web designer and graphic designer, but I very much have found myself sticking to my comfort zones, that is using website platform builders I'm comfortable with, tools that I'm comfortable with, and I really want to push myself to learn new things. So I do have some mock-ups of the app in a Figma file. I'm just going to work on building them out a little bit further. I also, as I mentioned, want to work on some social posts. I'm going to work on them in Canva, but also make some edits to some videos in Final Cut, and just really work on not worrying about finishing things today, but feeding that part of me that feels most awake when I'm making things. And there's truly something so sacred about giving yourself a day or an afternoon or an hour to work with no agenda, just pure wonder. And of course, while I'm working on these things, we have to set the vibe with some good music. Sometimes I work without any plan, just following little sparks like a shape, a new font, perhaps a color that feels energetic that I want to turn into a brand palette and build a brand off of. And Da Vinci once said, "Learning never exhausts the mind." And I really like that. It makes me feel less guilty for wanting to know so many things all at once. And I'm sure a lot of you who follow me on my channel share that similarity with me, where you have so many passions and different interests that it never feels like enough hours in the day to explore them all. I also used to think that I had to be good at something right away, or it wasn't worth doing. But I'm starting to realize maybe it's the slow becoming that matters most. Also, I think I mentioned this maybe in my last Renaissance Day video, but I need to put you guys on the Four Seasons, the Vivaldi recomposed by Max Richter. This album is amazing for when you want to get those creative juices flowing. It's my go-to album for the last couple years for just getting in the creative zone. It's beautiful. Vivaldi is already a genius, but this recomposed album is just so dreamy. It's a must listen. Please tell me that you're going to give it a listen. And while I've been working lately, I've been keeping a journal. as you know, I have my sketchbook journal. I like to scribble down thoughts as they come. And I've been thinking about mistakes a lot lately, about how in art, it's never the perfect lines that stay with you. It's the ones that feel a little raw, a little real, and maybe life works the same way. I'm especially noticing this with AI art. I don't know if you guys notice, but like my craving for imperfect human art these days is even stronger because we're getting drowned out by all of this AI slop, especially on things like Pinterest. Like how I crave to see a piece of artwork that feels human, that feels real, that feels a little imperfect in the ways that human create imperfect things. Anyways, as I said, I think life may work the same way. And I've been reading a book called How to Tell a Story. It's actually the book you saw me pick up on my solo birthday trip to Montreal this year. And the more I read it, the more grateful I feel for every messy moment I used to want to forget. Every failure, every awkward misstep, every time I said the wrong thing or liked the wrong person or stayed too soon or left too soon. Those moments are like the heartbeat of a real life. They're what turn a list of days into an actual story. And a good story, it needs decision points. Moments where you stand at a crossroads and choose to quit the wrong job, leave the wrong person, start the uncertain thing. It's terrifying sometimes, but every decision like that is a spark. The beginning of something new that you can't yet see. And without stakes, there's no reason to keep reading. And maybe without stakes, there's no reason to keep pushing ourselves either. It's not the easy chapters that change us. It's the moments where we have everything to lose, everything to gain, and we keep going anyways. And a good story always has a problem to solve, a mystery to uncover, questions so big, you're scared you'll never find the answer, and that's okay. Living through the question is part of what makes the answer matter at all. And that's all to say, if you're in the middle of a hard choice, a scary leap, or a messy beginning right now, find a little joy there, because these are the chapters you'll look back on one day and think, that's where I built myself. That's where I found out what I'm made of. And maybe that's the thing about the hardest chapters. One day they're the ones you'll miss the most. I keep reminding myself of a quote from C.S. Lewis, which is, hardships often prepare ordinary people for an extraordinary destiny. So maybe we're already right in the middle of becoming something extraordinary. We just don't know yet. It's easy to think nothing's happening when you're stuck, when work feels messy or slow. But I found that slow work is good work. In fact, most real growth looks like nothing at first. And taking a break, like spending an afternoon working on your passions, it can make you feel guilty sometimes. Like stepping away means you're wasting time. But lately, I've really found that pausing is where you meet yourself again. Well, that has been my second Renaissance day that I've taken you guys along with me for. Those are some of the thoughts that I've kind of been working through lately as I take these days to myself and really take time to also just think away from social media, away from the noise of the rest of the world, and reflect on my own life, my own business, and where I'm at currently. And as usual with my Renaissance days, not everything was completed, definitely not at all, and not everything was perfect. But everything felt right to work on, and it felt like I furthered myself in my passions and my interests, and I do feel recharged after I take days like this. And maybe that's all that creating is. Not chasing perfection, but showing up enough times to catch a glimpse of something that feels true, something that really sparks that interest in you. So if you feel ready, just start. I encouraged you to take a Renaissance day for yourself. Your talent is already there, you just have to meet it halfway. I really hope that you guys enjoy your Renaissance day if you're able to take it. Like I said, it could be a Renaissance day, it could be a Renaissance afternoon, it could be a Renaissance hour to just lean into your passions and your interests and give yourself that space to learn things for pure enjoyment again. I think burnout is so common in people who work long days with their regular jobs, whether it's a 9 to 5, it could even be a job that you love, like freelancing or building your own business. Burnout can be inevitable, and I think it's really important, especially if you're someone who feels creatively inclined, to lean into that. And you'll never know what you build in these days that you take to learn new things and try new things. It could take you down a whole different direction with your life, and I just think it's really worth taking the time to explore. So with that, I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I will see you all next week. Bye, friends.